Hi to all of our friends who are joining us for small groups tonight. I'm Rabbi Jason Rosner, and I'm here for your second session. Tonight we're going to be talking about, is food really Jewish or not? I'd like to start with an often repeated anecdote. It's about people who have dogs and who also bake bread. So I often hear it said that people who make challah, especially on Friday afternoon, if they have dogs, the dogs learn that when they can smell the bread dough rising and when they see the family members braiding the dough, that there's going to be some bread coming. And it's challah, so it's a little sweet, a little doughy, and the dogs like it. I'm given to understand that golden retrievers are particularly fond of this mixture, but that may be only because I grew up with a golden mix. In any case, on Friday afternoon, as dinner gets closer and closer, what we find is the dog gets more and more excited until eventually motzi is said and the dog is given a little bit of bread to eat. And the dog every week learns about the joy of Shabbat through this bread. Well, for us, we as human beings, we learn the joy of holidays through food oftentimes. And we construct our identity around food. You'll sometimes hear people say, I'm not a religious Jew, but I'm a culinary Jew. For different Jews, that means different things. My family is from Eastern Europe before the United States, my parents' side of the family. And so we tend to have dishes from that part of the world. My wife's family, my wife cooks dishes from Provence in southeastern France. That's where her family has its roots, and there are Jewish communities going back there to the time of the Romans. And so you can see different kinds of Jewish food that evolve over time. Now, I wanted to talk tonight about how we can tell whether something is really Jewish or not. How old does something have to be? And we're going to use cholent tonight as an example. Cholent is a food that we're having a little cameo. This is Simone. Simone, say hello to everybody at home. Hi. Okay, we're going to keep going. Okay, so cholent is a food that's based on an older kind of food. It's a hot food that is traditionally eaten for Shabbat lunch, that is Saturday lunch. And it first shows up, as you'll see in the sources below, around the Middle Ages, and it is deeply embedded in the food culture of the area from which it comes. It uses local produce, and it starts to reflect local linguistic customs. So you'll take a look at the source there below, and I'll ask you all to discuss tonight what makes something truly authentically Jewish food, and is there such a thing? We know that the challah that I spoke about at the outset, it's not the braiding of the dough that's the traditional Jewish part of the making of the dough, but in fact it's the tithing, it's the removing of a little bit of dough, keeping alive the old custom of tithing for the temple priests. But because we started braiding our loaves in the manner of Central European holiday bread, that became a deeply ingrained Jewish style of bread. And we do it, and it is now widely known and available at delis all over the place. But other foods like gefilte fish, they're thought of as quintessentially Jewish. Who else would eat it after all? Is really a medieval kind of fish that's been had the interior removed, it's minced, and then stuffed back inside of the skin. And Jews picked that up. We put our own twist on it. We then apparently decided that it would be great in jars, and we've sent that off as our culinary export to the world. So as you think tonight about different Jewish food traditions, I want you to ask yourself, does this food that we're talking about, does it make me feel more Jewish to eat it? And if so, why? What makes something a Jewish food or not a Jewish food? And for Jews here in 2023 in the United States, what does it mean to be in a culture that values fusion cooking? If you spend an afternoon looking around at popular food trucks, you may find that traditional Jewish food, be it Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, that's from Iran, Yemenite Jewish food, has begun to fuse with Korean short rib tacos and all the other things that Southern California is known for. So with that, I wish you bon appetit, a b'tei avon, a good conversation, and a healthy appetite. Take care. Bye-bye.